Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Nanette Victoria here with the weekly meditation for contemplation. Good to be with you. Mighty companions, let us take a deep, deep, holy breath in as we settle into our week and we rest in an open heart, surrendered position in the interior landscape, recognizing that the outside is a picture of the inward condition. And so we go within and we rest and we consent to the power and presence of our one reality in the divine substance that we are. We are the image of God, and all else is but illusion, smoke and mirrors. And so let us not take ourselves too serious or the world. Forgive, to give love ahead of time, and to remember before whatever seems to appear, before all that is the truth God holds of us, the Christ, eternal always, I am. Deep breath in. If you had your eyes closed, you may wish to continue to keep them closed. This week's reading is Holy Truth. Holy Truth. And holy, well, indeed a concept, but beyond the concept, words are but echoes. And so allow words to point you to that which is beyond them and to the experience of truth. Holy truth. We abandon all concepts of what we think we are and the world is. There is the invitation for holy truth to be apparent. The miracle of forgiveness is that it gives way to the holy truth that has no words or concepts to express. It merely is. All life is in spirit. From A Course in Miracles, holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but you can deceive yourself about it. This deception makes you fearful because you realize in your heart it is a deception, and you exert enormous efforts to establish its reality. The miracle sets reality where it belongs. Reality belongs only to spirit, and the miracle acknowledges only truth. It thus dispels illusions about yourself and puts you in communion with yourself and God. The miracle joins in the atonement by placing the mind in the service of the Holy Spirit. This establishes the proper function of the mind and corrects its errors, which are merely lacks of love. Your mind can be possessed by illusions, but spirit is eternally free. If a mind perceives without love, it perceives an empty shell and is unaware of the spirit within. But the atonement restores spirit to its proper place. The mind that serves spirit is invulnerable. Let us breathe that in. Those readings are underneath in the links below this video. I teach and share on these videos from the web edition of A Course in Miracles, the original in Foundation for Inner Peace, the original publishing company of A Course in Miracles. All that information is below. It's a phenomenal website. I love it. Use it every day, probably several times a day. And you can go in there and do web searches for any word or any phrases. Incredible. That reading, uh, when today in the movement of the course, the poem, the process is more. Mm, uh, it teaches me continually. I don't have words for it. But that particular reading was bringing me to a particular image, interior wise, and see what it is for you. But when we experience phenomena arising, whatever it is in our lives, in the day, in the moment, all life is in spirit. So I always think about Genesis, and because it's such a beautiful story and a metaphor, and there's so much richness metaphysically. Genesis 1, no problem. The garden, nobody knows they're naked. All is well. Walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. And then, later in the second story, oops, tiny mad idea. And the course for me really went deep in the early chapters where it goes into that story. So the holy truth is before, and I think of forgiveness also, to give ahead of time. So in real time, somebody cuts me off. This is just an example of what uh, Spirit wants me to express. All is well in the garden, and all of a sudden, Nanette's on a highway, and somebody cuts her off. I have two choices appearing in this matrix. I can forgive, which is to give ahead of time. I'm giving and I'm extending love as God extends love. And I'm remembering before that took place, before I was cut off on the highway, all was well. Got cut off, there was an interpretation. Huh, somebody cut me off. And there is that split. You did something to me. I separated out. I believed that was true, that I could lose the peace of God, and poof, then I could appear to get upset or just forgive, give. But as that's happening, and that's happened, um, today I just pull over. Uh, you know, I don't know what anything is for. Lesson 1, which I turned to today, as my husband and I sat down and I said, um, pick a number from 1 to 365, and let's see what lesson, and my husband was like, lesson 1. And it's great It's just nothing. Nothing means anything. Nothing I see means anything. Um, so the holy truth is God's kingdom. The truth of what we are is never destroyed, and forgiveness is the opportunity to come home, to remember um, all is well. All is well. Sometimes it sounds so easy. In fact, it is. Um, but the challenge is uh, these body temples, this ego that seems to want to, you know, pull us into its illusory dreaming. So the holy truth, all is well. Let us be still an instant. Look at what we're not, so what we are becomes available. Forgive, to give ahead of time, to come back to the beginning where we've never left. Mm. I love you all, mighty companions. Until next time.